Hey guys, it's Kanika. Welcome back to my channel. As I'm sure you know, I do keep a close eye on the comment sections on my videos. If I'm not looking, Sam and Amandine are. And we always consider what you all want to see. An interesting comment popped up and I thought it would be a great idea to talk about it. How do sociopaths see our exes? I would love your opinions on this subject and other potential video ideas. Let's jump in. I'm going to be giving you my perspective as someone with ASPD, as well as perspectives I've heard from other diagnosed people in the community. I have always been a serial monogamist with men and women. My relationships have been relatively long-term, averaging about around a year. A lot of other antisocials tend to have short-term flings, but because of my conservative upbringing, this wasn't something I could get on board with. Hence, I ended up committed since I first started dating at 21. Like most people, I used to want to win the breakup, essentially, to see the other person suffer. But for me, it was always more extreme than empaths. I have to admit, I did some fucked up shit because I always got really fixated on the control aspects of the relationship. I wanted them to be kind of obsessed with me even after we'd broken up. I felt like someone leaving me was a personal insult because it only happened once. And I was very focused on breaking down that person in any way I could. After seeking therapy, I realized that my actions were toxic and wrong, not only for that person in particular, but also for me. And I decided to spend a lot of my energy attempting to not do this anymore. I still have urges, but I can contain them for the most part. I mean, manipulation was a big part of my dating process, but I know now how much this can negatively impact my life and those of other people. I always respected women a lot more, as I could kind of relate to them. A lot of the things that had happened to them had happened to me as well. I'm still trying to be a better person like everybody else suffering from a PD or otherwise. I was asked, do you usually cut them off? Apart from one person at whose hands I was severely abused, I left an open line of communication with all of my exes, predominantly to wait for a text message or call. In other words, it made sense in my head that they would be coming back at some point to almost beg to get back together, as this would give me a power rush, really. It worked almost all the time, but the negative aspects of it tended to hurt the next relationship I was in, following, of course, that breakup. It hurt more than it helped for both parties, like for me and that person. And I stopped keeping up that expectation. I instead chose to focus on not fixating. A lot of the time, the breakup was caused by me being bored and finding someone else interesting. And I realized that I always thought the grass was greener with a new person, but it never was. I now do not interact with exes because I have someone in my life who I would never want to risk losing. I think I've spoken about it previously, but I can never remember emotions I've felt. This has led to me forgetting the admiration or love I ever felt for these people. Another question I was given was, do you keep them around as friends? Overall, I don't tend to stay friends with exes once they've been discarded. I tend to cleanse them from my mind and my life. As I mentioned, I get bored very quickly, and this makes me lose interest in these people. So I experience no joy or excitement having them in my life in that capacity as a friend. Of course, there's one concession to this, and it's an ex-girlfriend who I was already friends with prior to dating, and so we just kind of went back to that. I struggle to admit this, but if someone was proving useful for me, I'd continue to keep them in my life, regardless of my true feelings towards them. If a big gesture was made, particularly one to appease the ego associated with being a narc, I would consider returning to them. But on the few occasions that this happened, I realized within a few days or so why I'd left in the first place, and would cut them off again almost immediately. If I lose interest in someone, they cease to exist in my mind. I was asked if I would ever think of these people in a loving way. My response to this is that I could never experience the same emotions I did at that time. So it would be incredibly difficult for me to see them through that same lens, hence being unable to feel any love towards them again. Sometimes I romanticize previous experiences, but the reality always hits me. I've realized most of this behavior is socially unacceptable and overall damaging to me and the people around me. and I make consistent efforts to defy my natural instincts and urges. Now, to behave in a healthier manner, this is what I decided to do. I decided to be raw and honest on this topic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys resonate with and things you don't. Your opinions are always welcome. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and let me know what you would like to see next.